Gruckles is exploding, everyone! It's Deep Dive Zone, the Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts, Lauren and Bruce. And guys, Gruckles is exploding!
That's what the
Oh,
cover would seem to imply.
yeah, the cover's saying that. We'll see if it actually happens.
Yeah, it's Sonic 101, and let's remember, this was supposed to be the original Sonic number 100, and this is a very weird comic book.
Yes, it is.
Mm.
I don't know. To me, this doesn't even feel like it should be a milestone issue. It's so off.
Well, technically it's not, so...
Well, I know, but like it was supposed to be.
I mean, the other one, it wasn't really any more milestone-y.
Oh yeah, no, the other one wasn't either.
But yes, this is Altered States, Ballers and Ron Lim, although all the credits are scrubbed out of the digital version for some reason. But, learning that Nate is still inside Robotropolis, Sonic rushes to save his friend, only to find himself trapped in a labyrinth of intersecting and contradictory timelines.
Yeah, I
That
really.
makes it sound really cool, actually.
It
but
does,
it's
and instead
not.
it's just confusing.
Yeah, we start with Sonic running back, and then he bounces off the force field, and, well, the first thing that happens is that suddenly we're in the Sonic OVA.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I didn't expect them to reference the OVA like that.
I was like suddenly like, oh shit, are we adapting the Sonic OVA for some reason?
I
Here's the
wish.
thing.
That would have been a better issue.
Here's
Honestly,
the thing,
yeah.
they're not supposed to. They got in trouble for this because technically, they don't own the rights to the OVA.
But still, like, you see stuff like this and you immediately thought is, oh, good, another adaptation, great.
At the most random of times.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past these comics, honestly. But
No,
I mean,
we saw
fair
what happened
enough.
with Adventure 2.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We've got Metal Robotnik, we've got classic Eggman design, which is miscolored, but
God, classic Eggman really threw me off. I was really confused. I thought someone fucked up when I saw classic Eggman.
well, there is numerous fuck-ups to this issue, just in that
Well,
Ron Lim
sure.
is drawing the whole thing, and he doesn't really have a handle on the various styles he's being asked to attempt.
Right.
But yeah, so they fight Metal Robotnik for a second. I don't know how this is supposed to correspond to what was happening before. Like, this is basically just us seeing into alternate worlds, and none of the events really match up.
I'm surprised Sonic didn't show up, but this isn't some kind of parody, so...
also, this isn't technically. Well, no.
Well, we're
no,
seeing, like,
it's-
different timelines. I don't think we're
It's
seeing
not-
different
it's not like-
universes.
Yeah. Well.
But that's the
It's
question.
not
It's a
traveling
different
between
timeline.
dimensions. is the
Right.
Point.
Right.
It's actually this one doesn't really track with the others. All the other ones are like what ifs. So you're right. The other ones are timelines.
Sure.
Maybe this one is supposed to be too, but what timeline leads to the OVA? That's my question.
That's the question.
Well, and, you know, when you read this issue, you have no idea why any of this is happening. At least not in the main story. You might be able to guess it from the secondary story.
Yeah, the secondary story kind of gives you a easy guess.
It's annoying because I don't know if we've had alternate timelines in this comic, but if we assume that alternate universes and alternate timelines are different things, then I guess it kind of works.
Right.
But this is more like they're repeatedly Back to the Future changing their timeline.
Yeah.
Well, someone is, but anywho, let's talk about the issue itself. So they have the OVA timeline until Knuckles shows up and there's a million Metal Robotniks.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I did not attempt to follow any of these plot lines. Why are you asking?
No, there's
Okay.
there's no reason to try and follow these. They don't make sense.
Well, after that, we shift into another timeline where Amadeus, Tails' dad, who's still around, stopped the coup, but that meant that the Queen died, and also Sally is engaged to Knuckles for some reason.
Uh-huh. This is supposed to be like the best ending, I guess. And Sonic is like depressed, but why should he care about Sally? Because they met by happenstance.
Yeah. In this timeline, Sonic is also upset that, like, he doesn't have a gimmick. Like, it sounds like he's basically annoyed that Knuckles is the main character while he's just the guy whose dad is a robot, which is weird.
Yeah, that is the one unfortunate thing. But like, That was actually Chuck who roboticized him, though. So, yeah, I can't see any way that would have been prevented.
Mm.
Yeah. And this is what I was saying about Ron Lim's art, is that they have this moment where Sonic and Sally look at each other, and then they shift into what I think is supposed to be Sad AM's art style, but it doesn't look like it, because he can't draw it well.
It just looks poorly drawn.
Yeah, well, and like, yeah, it doesn't look like Sad AM. They should have had
No,
a different artist for each style. They should have brought in art and lighting for
honestly,
those.
yeah.
I didn't even know. Yeah, this is Sad AM.
I
I had no
think.
idea because the Freedom
Mm.
Fighter Special is here, which never showed up in Sad AM.
That's
I
There's no
thought this
name
true.
was.
here. Yeah, there's myriad of
No, they're
things.
not because that's in the next timeline.
Oh,
Um,
is it? Okay.
but I guess you're probably right. It's Sad AM. I assumed it was just like, what if Robotnik didn't die at the end of Endgame, basically, and so they just kept fighting forever, basically.
Again, there's many things that they could have done. They should have made Rotor blue and Bunny brown. You know, that's their Sad AM colors. But
It's
True.
true.
it's the fact that Sally's specific, the way that her eyes are drawn are specifically Sad AM invoking is what I think. But
Hmm.
it's not great, I admit. And yeah, so the other timeline is one where Sally. The next timeline is Sally is dead.
Enders got their way.
Yeah. Borrowed observation here. Everybody goes to the funeral, but it's like the script probably said they dressed in black for the funeral, but they just draw them in black versions of their normal outfits.
Well, to be fair, Sonic literally only wears gloves and shoes, so I don't really know what else black he could wear.
You could put him in a suit. He's not. He's allowed. Actually, Sonic is not
He's
allowed
been
to wear
shown to
pants,
wear
but
suits before.
he can
What?
wear it. Yes, that's true. But he can't. He can't. He can wear like
That's
the
true. That
top
is a
half of the
Sega.
tux.
That is a Sega mandate for some reason.
I didn't know it was a thing at this time necessarily. But okay
Oh,
then.
yeah.
I
To be
mean,
fair, was it a thing at this time?
I have no idea.
I know
Probably
that's
not.
a thing now.
These comics ignore Sega's rules all the time anyway. So,
Real.
True.
but Rotor is in his funeral snapback. So
Hmm. Only the most formal of outfits.
Anywho, Sonic is using his classic design in all these, but Amy and Tails aren't, which annoys me.
I didn't even realize. I
I
should
mean,
check the eyes. That's the only way to know for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. For most of these artists, that's the only way to really know for sure.
Well, Ron Lim has been the guy who draws Sonic with absurdly long quills for a while now, so that's the other
That's
way.
true.
Um,
True.
Also, Bunny should have her old cybernetic design. Whatever. Anyway, so Sonic is like, man, this is all really wrong and stupid. This didn't happen. And then we just flash back to reality? Question mark?
Uh-huh.
Except it's not reality because Nate is here until
Well,
he's
yeah,
not.
For a second.
Yeah, and
It's
then
like
he
there's
disappears.
a few residuals.
Yeah, it's really weird. He gives one final victory Treknobabble, and then he's just arbitrarily gone, and everything's back to normal.
He points out that it's Gruckles behind everything, but not in a way that the reader would easily catch.
Right.
Yeah, he basically transforms into Chuck, and it's very funny
Which
because
makes
he's
me
giving.
wonder if maybe it actually just was Chuck all along, and Sonic is like
Sonic's just like
his
imagining
eyes
that
are
is
still clearing up or something.
right. He just assumes it's Nate because that's who it's been basically in that role for the last pretty much since Chuck was re-brainwashed.
Yeah, so he transforms into Chuck, which I think is hilarious because he transforms mid explanation, and Lauren, you can say, oh, he's just seeing him as him. I like the idea that these two characters are so similar they would basically say the exact same thing.
I mean, for the most part, they kind of are.
A lot of Nate's roles could have been
Yeah.
taken by Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of. I like to think that it's Chuck because I think it makes it a bit of a sweeter send off because if anything, this feels like a send off for Nate.
Mm,
It's like at the end here at least. It doesn't, it doesn't mostly fill that role, but when these stories try to do something like that, they usually fail so epically anyway. So,
right.
I would expect like about this much if that was the intention. And I like
Yes.
to think that Sonic is like, bummed that they're not going to get Nate back, and so he's
Right.
imagining that he's there for a second.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you call it a send off, that makes the most sense. This is where I was thinking of saying something last week, and I didn't, but I am going to say it here. So, Ballers at a certain point had grown kind of tired and confused with Nate and not really known how to use him. And
Sure.
so he had him get roboticized, and he was
Hmm.
planning on bringing back this plot line way later with Robian humans. That just didn't happen. He just didn't get around
Huh.
to it. So we are not
Interesting.
seeing Nate again after this.
Interesting.
Yeah, so when last week when you were like, huh, it was an interesting sacrifice or whatever, I was like confused. I was like, is he saying that Nate doesn't come back? But now I know, having read all these issues, that that is the
Right.
case.
Yeah, it was
Um,
weird because like I wanted to give a eulogy sort of to the character because he'd been here for a long time, but it's
Sure.
also that like it's a spoiler that he doesn't come back, but it's a spoiler of something completely anticlimactic.
Hmm.
So,
yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that he was planning from the beginning to bring him back, which is weird. Like, why would
That
you
is
kill
odd.
off a character to bring them back
I mean, that's the
much
magic of
later?
roboticization, but
Right.
There are
well, and
other
it's
characters in these stories that just don't show up, and then they just show up again later. Like, they don't have to be dead.
That's true.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, and maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Next week, there's an issue that I really question why they did that with Nate, but I guess we'll not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, so they say Nate sacrificed himself for everyone. Thanks, man. But then they're just like, we have to go home before any other time shenanigans happen. Which, no, they don't, because the time shenanigans are being caused by Gruckles. But
Right. Yeah, I don't know why going back to Knothole would have any effect.
it's not even 3 hours in the future anymore.
That's true, it isn't.
Remember that? Remember when that was a plot line that they did absolutely nothing with?
Almost
I
forgot.
sort of remember that, yeah.
So yeah, supremely awkward sequence in a supremely awkward issue.
Yeah, this really doesn't feel like any kind of like milestone.
Well,
Why
I
are we
mean, it's
talking as if there's not another story?
because
Well,
it's Pendejo, you know.
yeah, it's Pendies.
And I would say that like they're trying to with all these alternate timelines, if I assume that the Sat AM one and the OVA one, they're at least trying to pay some respect to some part of the series history, but they do a real
Sure.
bad job of it.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
why I
that
think
was
that
the idea.
the actual issue 100 is a better issue 100 because at least stuff happens in that.
Yeah.
I mean, you are correct, but that doesn't like make it good, in
Listen,
my
issue
opinion.
100 killed off more characters than any other story.
Okay, now wait a
Automatically
second. Wait,
good.
okay. I'm gonna get back to it because you're bringing it up. You're bringing it up. So I was gonna bring it up later when we get like more definitive proof. But yeah, Nate was killed off, and that actually got me going for a second at the end there. But the thing is, there was no build up. Like
Right.
it was a noble sacrifice, and I respect that. But it was just so spur of the moment. Usually, you're supposed to
Build up.
give some time to say goodbye almost to the character, give them a final hurrah. But instead, he's just gone. And like Nate wasn't the best character there, but I kind of liked
No.
how weird of a guy he was, and I do respect
Sure.
the Sat AM origins too. So I'm definitely sad that he's gone. And in a, it's not the worst thing ever, but it is kind of unceremonious.
Yeah, well, and I mean,
It
again,
is
that's because
kind
it
of
was meant to be
unceremonious, yeah.
temporary, so it just
Right.
we have to address it at some point. So yeah, very weird. Let's at least see what the explanation for all of this is. It is Reboot, written by Ken Penders and drawn by Dawn Best, and thank God because her art is actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't not believe you, but I wouldn't be able to know without your critique.
Yeah.
I like her style, and
I think for the most part I agree.
I appreciate Dawn Best in general because she was hired when she was like 19. She is one of the first fans to
Oh.
become workers on these comics.
Okay, well that's
Wow.
impressive.
And I don't know, I think her style is cute.
Yeah.
But
No, it's good style.
so, now sympathetic to Dimitri's side, Gruckles decides to test his new powers by altering history to save the Echidna race from itself.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Time fuckery, my favorite.
Honestly, well, let's get into it. I don't hate it, actually.
Well, so okay. I like it because it basically backfires on Knuckles. Or
Well,
excuse
yeah,
me,
that's always a
Gruckles.
good thing.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
that's I can appreciate it because it backfires on him and basically says, "Nah, fuck you. You don't get to do this."
Yeah. I don't mind the premise of trying to change time and having things go wrong. In this case, there is some oddities about it. So I want to explain what we start with,
Hmm.
where Gruckles knows that Tober is dead now. Um, but the really weird thing is that he is convinced to take Dimitri's side because when Tober flew out of the portal and died last week, Gruckles felt his anger so much that it convinced him he was wrong.
Yeah, I that
Apparently.
sure, why not?
I thought his explanation of, oh, we've been fighting too much and let's try to, like, patch things up was good enough. But no, you just had to
Yeah.
have something convoluted as well.
Well, and it's hilarious because way back when we first introduced the Dark Legion, we were sympathetic to them because Echidnopolis, a fundamentally, anti-technology society, maybe shouldn't be that way, and maybe the Legion has a point. The problem is that we never saw the Legion be anything but unambiguously evil, and Echidnopolis just
Right.
had technology. So it's like it's almost too late to go back on that now.
Yeah, but they're sure gonna try to
Yes.
make it
Oh,
work
of course, of
because
course.
I
The,
love
the
that
writers have decided on something, and now they want it to be the case.
that's all it takes. As
Yeah,
soon as Gruckles joins the Dark Legion, Dimitri completely changes. Before he was like, ah ha ha, I want to see all my enemies suffer.
yeah.
Now
Now he's
Gruckles
like, oh,
walks in, is like, hey guys, I was thinking of using my
yeah.
powers to
And
rewrite history.
now
And
Dimitri's
Dimitri
all
is
being
like,
all logical and stuff.
yeah, he's like, oh, let me think about this.
He's
And
like, hold
Gruckles
on a
is like,
second, I need to think about this. It's
how
like,
do I
what
do
the
this
fuck?
though? And like a wise mentor, he's like, "Oh, you just must use your mind." It's the dynamic is like so unexpected.
It is very odd.
Yeah, Dimitri becomes the old master, which it's like I'm gonna train you to be the next Enerjack or whatever. Not really though, but
God. Well,
and,
they state that Knuckles is at this point probably even stronger than Enerjack.
oh,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
because Dimitri is like, yeah, so your crazy powers allow you to do literally anything.
Right, he is literally a walking plot device.
Gruckles
Well,
is God.
I mean,
God
he
damn.
already was before, but now he's got the power to show off as well. To be fair, that is just what Dimitri says. And having assumed the role before, he probably would talk it up because he thought he was God
Sure,
before. So,
it's
um,
true.
you can't take his word too much.
Well, you
I
know
do
what?
find it funny though that he's just not envious of this situation. Like you'd
I
think that he
guess.
would be, but no,
Yeah, he
he's
should be
just like,
bitter about
I'll
it.
live on. You'll be my legacy or whatever. He's totally cool with that.
I can replace Locke.
You know what?
Yes,
We should replace Locke.
With Dimitri though, he's not a lot better.
he is
That's
better
true.
though.
You know,
He
you
didn't.
know,
He didn't mutate Knuckles, so this would happen.
That's true. It's
Dimitri's
not his
home and
fault.
family life may be better organized.
Jesus Christ.
But so Gruckles decides to try time traveling to stop problems before they happen, and that's what creates a bunch of alternate timelines. Is he keeps fucking up basically?
Yeah, well, I
Mhm.
think to me it seemed more like not Knuckles fucking up. It's that the sands of time are always, or the flow of the river of time is always going to find the way it wants.
I mean,
Judgment Day
it
is
goes
inevitable.
both ways. He does screw
Yeah,
up, but
he
it is
does screw
because he
up.
couldn't have succeeded.
Right? Yeah, that's probably a better way of putting it.
Well, and so my issue with this is that A, you can say that, but like I don't feel like that's true in real life. And
Time
B,
travel real. Last I checked, it hasn't at least been discovered yet.
Yeah, no, tell me if it's been discovered, Devin, because we've got other things to talk about if that's the case.
and B, the way that they contrive scenarios for Gruckles to fail is completely ridiculous. We're gonna see more of this in the oncoming issues, but his first thing that he tries here is trying to stop the meteor from destroying Echidnopolis, and then it just gets wiped out by a random earthquake instead?
I believe that there was going to be an earthquake, and this was previously established, and they avoided that too, although I could be remembering wrong.
If it was, then I have no idea where, because it's not in the original backstory that Ken wrote.
I mean, that's
Either
entirely
that or
possible.
like that is the case now, even if they didn't mention it before.
If
I
he
can't
can do
remember.
literally
Is it?
anything, he should stop the earthquake too.
You're
Yeah.
taking Dimitri's words
I
with
know.
too much weight. You can't trust the dude.
Well, Gruckles seems to. Shouldn't I be
Well,
rooting
Well,
for the
yeah,
main
of course
character?
he does because he's a better mentor than Locke ever will be.
ooh,
Yeah. Either way, it feels like a punchline mostly.
Well,
yeah.
it is a little ridiculous because Gruckles is a little ridiculous. And nothing can't be ridiculous with him there.
Yeah. Also, I guess he doesn't have to undo his resetting because he comes back to normal time and Dimitri's like, "Wow, you suck," and and that's it. Like they don't show him stopping himself from stopping it. Yeah, Gruckles gets back and Dimitri's like, "You suck. I'll teach you to not do that again," and that's our ending. So yeah, bad issue, not a good one.
Yeah, no, this is a bit of a stinker.
Not great, but not boring as per usual.
Oh, sure, it's not boring, but like,
Yeah,
you
and in
know,
fact, as far as Penders goes, it's not even a boring story from him.
no, honestly,
No,
the Pendy's story was maybe a little more. No, it wasn't more
it
interesting.
was more interesting. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't
Um,
know. I don't think it was like because
It
the Sonic story felt more all over the place, but
uh-huh.
because of that, that ends up coming off as more interesting. The Pendy's story felt more coherent.
Which is
yeah,
why I find it more interesting,
I
actually.
mean, that's
Because
fair
my
enough.
my interest shut down after I'm like, oh, they're just hopping timelines over and over until it ends. Great.
I
I mean,
think
that's
I
Like,
just
that's
like the
fair
artist
enough.
better, and that made me able to comprehend it better. I don't like either of them though.
no, I mean neither of them are particularly
Well, yeah,
great.
neither of them are like really fucking good,
The
but
Knuckles one does
they're
give me hope for the future, though. I know I should not be getting my hopes up,
yeah. Don't say that.
but
You're just gonna be disappointed.
but
Here,
you know,
let's keep those hopes from getting too high. Let's move on to Sonic number 102 and look at all these bombs. Look at the face.
That face is so silly.
Look at
I
this.
love this cover. This is a
Look
great
That
cover.
is a great cover.
look at all of these explosions and bombs on a comic released in November of 2001.
Oops.
Oh boy.
I'm surprised that like between this and all of the terrorism stuff in Sonic Adventure 2, no Sonic stuff ever got like banned or like moral panicked, which is a surprise because I mean that was when Pokemon got an episode banned just for being named Tower of Terror.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very odd how the media landscape was back then, and I guess how it still is, but for different reasons.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so family dysfunction. The Freedom Fighters return with the sword and the freed Robians, but when Elias fails to use the sword's power, tensions rise in the Acorn family. Not helping this is an attack from Robotnik. And wow, talk about a story title that could describe about 70% of the stories in this era.
Right?
Yeah. These stories are feeling more and more like soap operas than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny because I think I described some of the stories in the classic era feeling that way.
I don't even really distinguish between the eras. I think that it's soap opera the whole way down.
Yeah.
Other than back when it was solely action focused, but that was almost exclusively
Sure.
before number 50.
I almost wish it was still action focused.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, so everybody's
Uh,
home, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna free the general's mind finally." Um,
Oh, wait, don't skip past a very important detail, which is that Mina has reunited with their parents, so now the writers get to shelve the whole suicidal plot line and only focus on
on the
everything
shipping
else.
war.
I
Yeah,
like how
anyway, go on now.
Oh
I like how
boy.
her mom isn't even really drawn in or separated from
Yeah,
the background.
she's just a yellow blob.
Yeah, so they're gonna free the general's mind, and Sally gives the sword to Elias because Max is like, "No, Elias has to do it." Um, actually, he doesn't
For
say that,
some reason.
but he does
No, I
want
think
him to.
Sally. Yeah, Sally just did that because he's leader right now.
Yeah, and I want to note that the sword starts talking and is like, "No, I don't want to be away from Sally."
Yeah, what the fuck is up with that?
Uh,
I don't like what's up with that. Um, I
All right.
Sally is just they have power sword now. That's just their thing. Yeah, also want to point out that it probably was just because Elias is in charge, but it also could be in due part to the fact that I'm still the queen. The queen is still ragging on Sally, being like, "Ah, why'd you go after Robot Travis? You could have been injured. Like, what the heck?"
Because is supposed to be an action girl. She's supposed to
Right.
fucking do shit.
The most I can say is that Alicia has barely interacted with this girl since she was an actual baby.
That's
Um,
true.
but that's not really an excuse. It's like
No, it
I've been
isn't.
running.
But I
This is the
guess.
same thing as with Max. Is that Sally needs to be like, I have been running this shit for years without you people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the king was stuck in like the fucking the zone of silence.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And her mother was basically dead.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
mm,
case in point is that, their parents keep trying them to be a certain way. And this
right.
next page with Elias, I think, is actually really good because he picks up the sword and he points it at the general and he's like, and then he sucks and he drops it. And Max just, like, shits on him. It's like, you're causing a spectacle. And it's like, what do you mean? This is not about optics. It's about, can
No,
we get it to work? And if he can't do it, just have
right.
another
You're
person do it.
wrong.
Why do
This
we
is
need a
all a
show?
show of the strengths of the royal family. Are you
God.
kidding me? General de Coulet would not be allowed to be freed if it was not for the solidarity of the family. It's only because of them. It's all about image.
God damn.
At least this is an on purpose writing choice to be
Right.
like this is showing that Elias isn't really fit for the king spot, but also that Max fucking sucks. This is like toxic masculinity moments.
To be
God.
clear, yes, exactly. That's all that he thinks of it as, and that's why I kind of am surprised. Although maybe not, because he's probably just trying to save face when he's just like, "Do it" to Sally.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
fine if the child I like can't do it, I might as well get the one I hate to. Um,
Damn.
yes.
but it does happen. General's mind is restored. Antoine has his dad back. I feel happy for him.
Yeah,
That
of
that is
course.
that is the only good thing that comes out of this.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah, it really is.
and so yeah, good things abound, but everybody's feeling a little weird about the whole scenario. But then we cut to this amazing scene with Robotropolis, wherein Eggman is holding a parade to himself as damage control for the losses he suffered.
Well, yeah,
This,
he's
yeah.
trying to cover it up. He's trying to make it look like, oh yeah, he scared the furries away.
Yeah, and it gives us the excellent line, I'm bored, and these drop-top limo drives always get me in that assassination frame of mind.
This is
It,
perfect.
that is a wonderful series of words.
Only this version of Eggman in particular would throw a
Yeah.
party and decide that he just wants to murder people.
I want to I want to kill someone.
Well, specifically, while I think while making a JFK assassination joke.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's definitely JFK.
uh,
Oh, yeah, that's true. But still, yeah, there's always got to be a little reference here and there in
Sure,
these comics.
at least this is a
Um,
universe where JFK canonically existed at some point.
that is
that's
true.
true. Yeah, this I'm like, why is he even bothering? Like, he doesn't have to keep the face up anymore. And as we'll see, he doesn't. So I like to think this is his breaking point. It's like, I've had enough.
Yeah, and so he has Snively activate their plants.
That's who he is.
Jeffrey comes in and is like, "Hey, I got injured, so I'm gonna take some time off." And then Elias is like, "No, you can't, because I want to quit."
I
Yeah.
mean, good for Elias.
No, totally.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, good for him.
he doesn't want to be king, and well,
He
I
shouldn't
mean,
be forced to be king.
yeah, and I mean, I don't want Max to be king either, but
No,
Elias has not exactly been an amazing king currently.
no.
But it's all right because they get interrupted by a terrorist attack and more armless bombs.
I love this. It looks so adorable.
They look like Kirby enemies. Like they look
Yeah.
like I could eat them and get bomb powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Heavy and Bomb got reprogrammed, and now we're seeing a lot of bombs in the castle. I don't know if these are all identical copies of the same robot. It's kind of weird
I
how
assume
these
so.
these robots are no longer characters so much as they are enemies.
Sure.
Well, so I mean,
To be fair, Bomb and Heavy might as well have been enemies in Chaotix.
I mean, they were not really, and they were not exactly the most developed of characters in these books before. But we noted at least
Right.
one or two moments they had.
Keep in mind, they are being controlled by Eggman, so like they
True.
probably don't have much personality at the moment. But yeah, this is funny that Eggman saw Heavy and was like, well, every time bomb explodes, they replace them, instantly. What if
Right.
they just did that a bunch of times without waiting for it to explode? Like,
Eggman just
yeah,
pulled the 300 IQ move of, hey, why don't we just have him make more if he can already do it?
this is great. Also, we never got to see like Heavy in a role like working for Robotnik originally, so we kind of get that now.
Yeah. Also, Jeffrey's entire team has poisonous nanites in their blood.
Oops.
Oopsies.
It's a little. I feel like you could either go with the bomb thing or go with the nanite thing, but they go with both.
It's extra, just like Eggman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. And hilariously, Sonic is rushing to help. Obviously,
So, real quick, does Sonic have some kind of fucking spidey senses? How does he know what's going on?
He
um,
runs over and runs all the way back.
I feel like maybe you just should have had something, a signifier that he could just see coming from the castle, smoke or something.
Sure. That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, minor thing, but very weird. But hilariously, while Sonic is rushing to them and everybody's about to die, now is the time where the acorns are gonna try and hash things out.
Because, now's the
That's the only
time.
thing that's important. It doesn't matter if like you're all gonna die. You have to keep the image up of the solidarity together as a
Right.
family with the one ruler and the old king and the old queen and Sally's there too. I don't even know what she does in this
Sally's there
family.
too. That's a good description of Sally's role in these fucking comics.
Yeah, Sally is like, I'm no damsel, and Elias is like, I'm no king. And they're like, wow, I never understood that about you before. It's not like you said that plenty of times before, but whatever. So Sonic gets here, and Sonic's like, so you're saying all these bombs exist because of you? And he's like, yes. And then Sonic just absolutely fucking murks him. He's a
I
pile of
love.
plates on the ground.
Okay, that is a cool ass scene.
This is great.
That's rad.
You can tell that Sonic is used to fighting like
Yeah,
Robotnik's creations that have one singular weakness to focus
right,
in on. And he just, well, because he runs in and he sees, oh, shoot, like everyone could die in a moment if I don't play this nicely. And so
right.
he just instantly hones in on that and goes.
Yeah, it's shown some growth in Sonic's abilities.
It's Sonic in his element, which it feels like it's been a little bit since we've
Yeah,
seen.
well, because it was so much of the last like month of comics has just been Sonic not really doing a whole lot.
He's kind of been kept out of the action a lot of the time.
Yeah, so when we get to see
Yeah.
him do a little bit of action, it's cool as hell.
Yeah. Rotor diffuses the bombs as well.
Yeah.
Which, what the hell's an EMP simulator?
Yeah, EMP
Shouldn't it
generator maybe.
just do
Yeah,
an EMP? Like, why does it need to be a simulator?
yeah. Is it not a real EMP?
Yeah.
It just tricks the bombs into thinking that they're deactivated.
It tricks the bombs into thinking there's been an EMP.
Yep. But the day is saved. Jeffrey's team is going to be out of commission for a while because they've got nanites in their blood, and Elias is exiling himself in disgrace.
Oops.
For some reason.
Listen, exile in disgrace is like one of the core verbs of this comic. That happened
That's
to Athair, that happened to
yeah,
Tober,
yeah.
Yeah, but those were in Pender's stories.
it happened to Nate,
Oh,
it
okay,
kind of happened
okay.
to Mogul.
I mean, actually, last we saw, the king was like, "Oh, huh, okay." I didn't think of it that way. So, like, no one was
Right,
really telling him to leave.
right.
No,
And
I
then
know.
So
Elias just
this one
decides
doesn't
to
work
leave on
quite
his
as well.
own.
It's
I
a
don't
self-imposed
understand.
exile in disgrace.
Yeah, and I don't understand what the fuck the point was.
So,
Did they not like Elias? They wanted to get rid of his character too, didn't they?
no, I would not say that.
No, because he's probably coming back sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll be back relatively soon.
He's not going to be. Well, we're going to see him before too long. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, okay.
I guess it's just that he felt so bad about some of the decisions that he made as king that he physically did not want to be in that place anymore.
Just so they couldn't force him to be king anymore.
Oh, hold on
Yeah.
a second. The decisions he made as king weren't most of the decisions made by Saint John.
Yes.
Yeah, but no one else knows that.
So,
Well, no,
Jeffrey just left for no. Or Jeffrey. I wish Jeffrey would fucking leave.
well, he's still responsible for taking Jeffrey's advice, and he's still, he
I
didn't really make
guess.
judgment calls of his own. And so, even
I
if he didn't,
guess.
even if he was not the sole perpetrator behind every bad action that happened, he still has responsibility for it and still would feel guilt for it, certainly.
Well, that's dumb.
Okay, well, you go be king.
No, thank you.
No, because the moral is to not force people to be king,
Exactly,
remember?
Devin. God.
Okay, well, you go don't be king.
Already doing that.
Alright, well, you go live in the woods, I don't know. Anyway, okay story, I guess, other than the fact that I am extremely tired of the acorn shit now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, completely.
It's a story, all right.
It's only one page of Eggman. It's not even worth reading.
Yeah, come on, give us more Eggman.
Yeah. I guess I just mean that Eggman's plan and his appearance in the story is very, very good.
Eggman's plan was the best part of the story because it's so ridiculous but on point.
No, I don't dislike the whole heavy and bomb threat.
It's a fine concept.
But so far there's actually been like a remarkable through line in these recent issues, I must say. But it's usually been like half Sonic, half Eggman, and Eggman's always been good. And now it's not really much Eggman. He's like interacting a little bit indirectly, so there's just not as much to like anymore.
Right.
Well, let's see what the Penders side of the issue looks like with Life's Realities, written by Penders, drawn by Don Best. Gruckles makes another 2 attempts at time traveling to save Angel Island. They don't work.
Wow.
So we start off with him back in time looking at Edmund and Dimitri's presentation to put Angel Island back in the ground, and he's going to change it so that their plan is approved instead of rejected.
Which I don't remember. How does he try to make it approved?
The judge
doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
because
okay,
he imitates the judge's voice, which I'll accept that within his powers. But the judge doesn't say, "I didn't say that."
No, the judge just goes along with it. He's like, "All right, yeah, sure." Well, so it's not like the speech bubble is not coming from him, which makes me wonder if Gruckles made him say that. And then
does he
mind because
control?
He's looking around confused, like who said that?
Well, no. So what I'm guessing is he made him Gruckles made him say that, and he's confused why he said that because that's not what he was going to say.
Maybe he was just the cognitive dissonance would just threw him out of whack, and so he couldn't even say anything after that.
It makes me think if in real life, you're at a trial and the judge smacks the gavel on the thing and says, "I find the defendant guilty." Wait, no, I don't. What's the precedent for that? What do you do?
Most people probably would at least say that though.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this judge literally doesn't say anything about the mystery voice.
It's very strange.
Yeah. As for the result of this is, okay, well, we're gonna do the thing that we were gonna do all along, and that Dimitri did try to do, but he just overloaded the things. He was an idiot. But so they use the Chaos Siphon, but they just use it too much, and the island crashes and they die.
Which, I don't think that's how that would have worked.
I believe it, honestly. Dimitri is...
The entire point of the siphon was to slowly drain the emerald so that it would be gradually set down.
Right.
And the whole thing with Dimitri was that he used all of it at once on, I assume, just one of them, and that's what made him Chaos Charged.
Uh-huh.
So why does it happen here that he tries to do it and it just goes way too fast and they die? He's not even emotional because their plan didn't get denied.
Nah, but he probably didn't test it thoroughly, and so the whole Chaos Siphon thing always confused me anyway. To be honest, is it meant to drain the power into the user? Is that what it's meant to do?
I don't think so. Is it?
No.
Because if that's not what he meant to do, then how did he drain the power completely and only on one, and then the island was just fine?
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't fall then too, question mark?
I
Because assumedly he's doing the same thing here. You're right. You're right. This doesn't quite add up. I mean, I just assumed that he's so maniacal and not forward thinking that he just screwed it up anyway again somehow.
Well, so what it's making me think is that, I thought Dimitri initially was he was over emotional from their plan being denied, and so he's trying to
sure,
do it, anyway, and so he gets reckless, and that's why it happens. This is telling me
sure.
that it was just a terrible plan from the start.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm supposed to get that impression.
Well, unless told otherwise, we can believe whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these comics aren't very good at telling us definitively.
That's fucking true.
So it doesn't work. Gruckles gets back and immediately pisses me off because he gets back and is like, well, the plan failed. And Dimitri's like, really? Then how come you and I still exist? And did we not just talk about this? I thought we were just skipping over the part where he stopped himself from stopping it. But now apparently it just goes back to normal when they fail.
Well, no, actually, in this one, Dimitri says, "Oh, you must have reversed things."
Like a different Gruckles came back and reversed things.
Well, no, I guess it's that there's like a grace period where your time travel doesn't stick.
Oh boy.
Well, look, this is just Emerald Power nonsense. See,
Right.
you can't blame the time travel here because it's the fact that it's God Gruckles that's doing it that it really doesn't make sense. It was just a standard, regular time travel. I'm sure they would actually, Penders probably would not actually go through the effort to try to make it
No,
hold
you
together more.
wouldn't.
But he doesn't have to here because he can just be like, "Oh, Emerald Power nonsense. It fixes it."
Yeah. So they try another plan, and this time their plan is to save Edmund from being shot by the Legion. And this, for some fucking reason, starts roboticizing Gruckles?
Oh my gosh. Of course. It's because, oh, since everything was good in the world, then the Guardian cult didn't get created, and now the Echidnas are weak and pathetic, and so they just let Robotnik come roboticize them all. Because all this was actually a good thing, remember?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
the whole
god.
time the Guardians have been what's keeping Eggman off of Angel Island, definitely.
Ah, yes, it's clearly been the Guardians, not
Because they're just so competent all the time and strong.
Definitely.
God.
Apparently Angel Island is literally nothing without the Brotherhood, but yeah, so we have that going for us. Every echidna that's not a direct part of the main character's bloodline is worthless.
Alright.
Anyway, so Gruckles changes that back, obviously, again. And then Dimitri says something along the lines of, don't worry about it. Here, this'll get up your spirits. Maybe you can stop me from having done the quantum beam. Which is like...
Like,
just undo it yourself, asshole. Just rebuild your
You
stupid
can't. It
cannon.
got broken, remember?
Just rebuild it. You built it once.
I'm sure he's probably working on it, but because plot convenience, this is the one time it'll take a while to do.
Of
Normally
course.
evil geniuses can just make things in like a day.
sure,
But
they can just
but
spit this out in an hour.
but the plot demands that Gruckles go screw around with stuff first, so
God.
it's taking a while.
Apparently.
Yeah. Once again, Dimitri is just like, don't worry about it too much, because you can do anything if you just put your mind to it. He's not disappointed in his new son at all because he's putting in the effort. Gosh darn it!
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn right. Locke wouldn't be impressed.
But we've got these two ongoing plot lines, and they've been at least followed through from one event to the next. So clearly, the proper next step is to abandon both of them completely. This is Sonic the Hedgehog number 103, Quantum Leap. What?
Man, this is kind of a cool cover. It's a shame I know what comes after it.
No, yeah, the cover is actually pretty great. I mean, it's a false advertisement as usual, so that's
Yeah.
probably why it looks cool.
It'd make you think
Fair
the
enough.
Shadow's coming back, really.
Yeah, like
Yeah, honestly,
very
it kind of
possibly.
would, yeah.
So this was the period of time where for a month, 2 months, Ballers and Penders are both out sick, which means get ready for 2 issues of literal filler. Bruce calls Pender stories filler, and they certainly feel like it. This is filler beyond filler. This is never any of this
Yeah.
is going to matter.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is filler. I do have to give a few points just for the fact that they didn't want to like screw with the established plot points at all and like try to add to them.
Sure.
And they just decided to do
I
something
mean,
that completely
yeah,
didn't matter.
that's fair enough.
Like, they were sort of being respectful.
Yeah, I suppose. To everybody
Yeah.
but people who want to enjoy themselves.
They had to still make issues.
Well, I don't, did they have to?
Comic books go
Yeah,
on
I'm
hiatus
sure.
all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't want to get paid for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Certainly a lot of major comic publishers right now are not in the best financial shape, including the current publishers of Sonic comics. So, anyway, we have here Freedom Fighters of the Galaxy, written by Michael Gallagher and drawn by Jim Valentino. Sonic the Zone Cop, yeah, that's right,
Always a
escorts
good
readers,
sign.
escorts readers to an alternate Mobius set 1,000 years in the future, where war, alien technology, and time have transformed our cast into the Freedom Fighters of the Galaxy. So, the reference here that is not being directly stated is that Jim Valentino drew the 90s version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
The problem here is that nobody knew who the fuck the Guardians of the Galaxy were in the 90s.
Right. They didn't really come to major popularity until like the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I didn't know who the hell they were until the first movie came out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't either.
I still don't.
Yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
don't, and I don't even know how similar they are, because like half these characters that we are going to see are references to characters that aren't in at least the first two movies.
True.
And I'm gonna be honest, I feel a little bored even trying to describe this shit. It's like it's
I
1,000
feel like
years in the future. Sonic
Yeah.
has psychic electricity.
Hmm?
I,
They meet up with. I mean, they have wacky names, but I should just call them like it's just Tails, and yeah, he's been asleep for 1,000 years, apparently, because some clam people healed him and then said go away, like good understanding folks. And then I got excited for a second because it was the original Robotnik design. I'm like, oh yeah, love that look. And then he decided to just wage total war, murder everyone. Okay, great. Three-legged alien things
War of
just
the Worlds
killed
parody.
Yeah,
everyone.
I was about to say War of the Worlds.
Yeah, very, very reminiscent. And evidently, in this alternate timeline, the Dark Brothers, shoot, that's Sonic Chronicles. The Dark Legion was destroyed early on because the echidnas here are all robotic.
yeah,
Right.
so that's something. I don't know.
They accidentally referenced something from the ongoing plot line. Oops. But the bad one. This version of Sonic is very radically different because he says on page 7, sometimes there's no need for speed, which Sonic would never say that.
Oh, you bastard. Yeah, so they fight these Robian echidnas, and it's odd. It's like most of this issue is exposition for how Robotnik took over, how Sonic and Fake Tails got their powers and stuff, and then they show off the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy parody with I don't know what the hell their names are, I don't care. But then they go into long explanations about how they got their powers and stuff.
I like how all the Guardians are based off the Freedom Fighters,
Except
and
for
then
this
there's
Hawk.
just Hawk there,
Who the
like,
fuck is
hello.
who is this Hawk?
He's not even a real Guardians of the Galaxy character. It's a reference to how Jim Valentino had two separate superhero characters with Hawk in different parts of their name.
That's really stupid.
One of them is the guy from the Image Comics crossover. Silverhawk, maybe is his name? I don't even remember.
Oh.
And I don't remember who the other is. Shadowhawk, and the other one was Starhawk. Because I don't care. My only note with any of these guys is that, hey, I recognize Antoine because he's based off of Yondu, who is literally the only Guardians of the Galaxy character that's actually in the movies that's being referenced.
Oh, I didn't even realize that that's who that's supposed to be.
Yeah, because Yondu in the movies is also like this weird. He's like a space criminal, whereas this guy is just like
Yeah,
honorable archer. Um,
right.
but it's okay because they make up for it with the greatest thing ever, which is
Oh, wait. Okay. Well, you are correct, but let's not get there because I have to
Yeah.
point out the very long-winded and quite frankly unhinged editor's note about the sharks, where it talks about
oh yeah,
how
the street
these
sharks.
intelligent race of evil shark aliens were actually created by none other than the legendary 40 Fathoms Freedom Fighters by accident,
Oh my
somehow.
god. I didn't even read that. I'm gonna be honest. Most of the time, I don't read the editor's notes because they're explaining things I already know.
It's very important lore in this instance that you would completely miss
Also, I
about
wanna.
the Guardians universe.
So I wanna see if I understand the backstory of these characters correctly. Each of the freedom fighters somehow escaped Mobius, and
Uh,
then
Yeah, Rotor says that they took
yeah,
spacecrafts away.
right, and then they each landed on different planets, and then somehow populated them.
You know, I didn't think about that, but
Yeah,
that's true. How does that work?
how did this individual populate an entire planet?
You know, we don't know definitive. Let me think about this. Echidnas, I guess we do know, but maybe the other races just like clone themselves.
I, I guess.
that's what I want to think about with the Sonic comic is how can Rotor Walrus reproduce asexually? He just barfs out another rotor like fucking King Piccolo.
Jesus Christ.
Uh, this comic is unhinged. You know, case in point, the Silver Snively. Come on,
I
look at
love
this.
this.
Okay,
I love the
yes.
Silver Snively so goddamn much. He's the best part. I love Bad Boy on his fucking surfboard.
I
I mean,
would
I
put
guess
this
I know who
picture
the
on my
Silver
wall.
Surfer is, but
Yeah, I kind of forgot he was associated with the Guardians.
no, you think of him as well. I guess I think of the bad second Fantastic Four movie, but
I think of Fantastic Four or X-Men.
Yeah, I had read through this comic before, but I didn't realize it until I got to this picture. I'm like, oh, I remember this page, but I didn't remember anything else.
yeah.
How you good page.
And that's where the story cuts off. Are you ready for more of that next issue?
Uh,
I'm
are
gonna
you
have
ready
to.
for whatever the fuck is going on in the next story?
Yeah, we can
I'm
take a
actually more
break
ready.
with the Down Under Freedom Fighters in Myth Taken Identity, which I don't know if you can guess by a title like that, but this is written by Michael Gallagher and drawn by Dave Monach.
Oh boy.
On the hunt for a new team member, the Down Under Freedom Fighters recount the formation of their original team, only to be alerted by nearby danger. And you can just absolutely tell how much of a bank issue this is, because Wombat Stew left the Down Under Freedom Fighters years and years ago.
Yeah.
It's true, and you know, I'm not gonna pretend like I really care about the Down Under Freedom Fighters,
That's
but
honestly fair.
boy, I do eat up some continuity here, and so I'm glad that eventually. I mean, I'm sure this wasn't high priority. They did get back to these plot points because yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
worthy of
realized.
following up on.
Yeah, they realized. Oh shit! Right, we need to get back to these characters that everyone clearly loves.
Finally, we'll get to see that 40 Fathoms parody of Al Capone again. Il
I
Capone.
don't remember any hanging plot threads there, but if it results in them creating a race of evil sentient sharks, I'd see it.
So be it. So fucking be it.
So, yes, haven't seen Dave Monach in 40 issues or something either, but we've got
Yeah,
corny
no
puns,
kidding.
we've got nonsense storytelling, we've got a couple references to Crockbot.
You
Yeah,
just cannot forget about Crocbot. He's
yeah. I'm trying
very
to figure out:
important.
is that a man still? Is that robot still kicking? I'm honestly not sure at this point.
I don't
Well, you
believe
never
so.
can be sure.
Um,
He keeps coming back.
well, you know what? 11 weeks from now, maybe you'll be surprised. Um,
Evan, don't say these things.
I
Never forget
love
any one of these comics ever.
I love the backstory segment of the Down Under Freedom Fighters. Because A, obviously nobody was asking to see this, but B, their backstory is that they all met one day and then decided to call themselves the Down Under Freedom Fighters.
So what we're
Yeah.
learning is that the term freedom fighters is not some universal term. It's just a term that characters come up with, like, coincidentally.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
except
Yeah.
they still specify Down Under. They don't call themselves the Freedom Fighters, so it's like,
Oh. Hmm.
Well, because there can only
You're
be one
right.
group of freedom fighters, and they know that. They know the plot demands that. They don't know why, though.
There was just a sense. So, like, I feel like that name is taken already. There's a message that I'm envisioning in my mind. And so they changed the name a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So this is a common pitfall that writers often fall into. They're like, okay, let's make a cool backstory about how this ragtag gang of lovable characters
This ragtag
got together.
gang of characters.
Um, all right, so maybe they just all bumped into each other, sometimes literally in a short amount of time. That works, sure. Like they didn't make it
Yeah.
interesting at all.
Honestly, they really didn't. It's just like they're like, shit, we need a backstory. They just ran into each other one day.
I'm trying to think if there's ever been like a team with a really interesting backstory in this series, and I don't think there has. Like even in modern
Yeah.
Sonic, I'm trying to think if there's any faction with an interesting origin point. And it's like maybe the Diamond Cutters. But even then, that's still just, we were people in a war and we ended up near each other. So, I don't know.
I have to review them all. I'm sure there's been at least one or two,
I wouldn't be surprised if there was.
but it's not common, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So, back in number 60 something, I think, when Sonic and Tails were here, the plot did
Odd.
gesture toward the aboriginal mythical beast, the Bunyip. I don't even know if that's how you're supposed to say it, but they gestured at that being something that might eventually show up, so I guess we're doing that next time.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yes. Now this I do have to give props for, mostly because for the longest time I didn't know how that plot line was followed up on, and I kind of just assumed it was dropped. And then I read this, I'm like, oh, okay, finally, yes, the one random thing is that I never knew what happened about it. That didn't work. Anyway, I'm glad they followed up on it. There's this great line from, I don't know, I don't think this character's ever going to show up again. Whatever his name is, the big bird but small. He's like, oh, me and the other rejects thought about putting together the substitute Down Under Freedom Fighters,
Oh
which that is
boy.
absolutely terrifying thought, I must say.
I love that there's
We're
an
gonna-
asterisk with an editor's note that says, don't even go there.
The editor even knows, like, no.
Which is impressive. I'm not used to Justin Gabri being self-aware, honestly.
You know, if they had a few more, weeks without Penders and Ballers, it's possible it might have happened.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
So they're gonna go do that, but first, can we talk about this fucking next page?
Oh,
yes.
God.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is the issue where there's an Edmund Dimitri family tree at the end from Penders. And because of Knuckles and Julie Sue, the family tree is technically a loop.
It's the goddamn family wreath.
And, we've talked about this, how because of the semiotics of time travel and them knowing each other, it's not really a problem, except for the fact that Penders keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
And I want to note that this is not just a family tree, it's a quiz. You're supposed to fill in all of the names.
So what you're saying is that we gotta do this.
Maybe for a bonus episode, but... And I want to note, there's more than 10 in here that are names that you don't even know, and that they say, this character hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I'm surprised that Penders has actually planned that far ahead. It feels like he's always stalling because he doesn't have any ideas.
Well, let's be clear that, like, half the shit on here is stuff like John L. Lee, Crystal Law, or fucking Luger, Jordan, Aaron. It's like, do you remember who any of those guys are?
Remember Crystal
Uh,
Law?
Okay, Luger, I think, is Julie Sue's real dad, maybe? I don't remember.
Yeah,
uh,
Crystal Law is a Thayer's wife that he didn't care looking for at all.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough. But, ugh.
well, if Athair didn't care, why should we?
You're right, let's move on.
Yes.
uh, yeah.
Sonic number 104, enter Robolactus.
Nobody expects the
God.
return of Robolactus after a whopping 66 issues.
Did we see him in one of the, like, Night of a Thousand Sonics or something?
So back when there was a side story where Sonic was sick and Tails was telling stories, and he made his own comic book, and it
Okay.
featured a character called
That's right.
Robotnicus, which is
That's
just they
right.
change names all the time. It's based on the same dude, Galactus.
Right.
So in a way, it's again a follow up, if you will.
Man, I wonder if Spaziant ever considered being a writer, because I feel like he could do better than any of these people.
I must say he does a great cover here. Like this looks awesome, even though
Oh
it's
yeah, that cover is rad as hell.
See, that's the thing. If you care that much about making Sonic characters look good, I have to imagine you couldn't be that much worse at writing them.
Yeah, that's honestly true.
Alright, Freedom Fighters of the Galaxy Part 2, written by Gallagher and drawn by Don Best this time. I guess Jim Valentino didn't want to come back. But the Freedom Fighters of the Galaxy do battle with the Silver Snively and Robolactus, this universe's version of Robotnik, I guess. And, I still like Don Best's artwork. I still think her style is pretty cute, but...
Yeah.
It's funny that we dedicated all of that surrounding Silver Snively, and he's beaten in, like, 2 pages.
Yeah, but it's great while
Yeah.
he's here. The idea of Snively shooting energy beams is just amazing, and his face is the best when he gets defeated.
Yeah, that's the kind of face that I draw. Um,
So what you're telling me is that you could totally write for these comics, or draw for these comics.
during this fucking era, I'm better than Ron Lim.
You know what?
Yeah.
That is true. That is 100% true.
Can someone explain to me why last issue it was Sonic with a C and now it's Sonic with a K?
Reasons.
Oh. Yeah, you know.
Okay, thank you.
That's all you need to know.
I want to note, whatever this version of Sally, she has a line here where she says, Sonic is a natural leader, and a hunk, too. It's like, God. Michael Gallagher, maybe it's because the artwork is better. I don't know if his script writing has evolved at all since, like, 1992.
I don't think
Really,
so.
I don't think it has.
It's something, yeah.
It sure is.
So we're getting introduced in a little bit of backstory on this version of Robotnik, Robolactus, whose whole thing is that he drinks planets.
Yep.
Yeah.
So apparently this is like Robotnik's descendant who somehow he also reproduced on his own, and this happened eventually.
To be fair, I don't really want to think about Robotnik reproducing.
Well, you're gonna have to once we get introduced to Eggman Nega, but
Uh,
or reintroduced. But
Man, now you're getting me excited.
I actually don't know shit about Sonic Rivals, so maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not. Anyway, so they're in a spaceship. Sorry, some kind of ship. But sorry, that's just a
Yeah.
weird line from Sonic. But they're talking about Robolactus, and so they're gonna go out in spacesuits to fight him.
I actually like
yeah.
the gag where they're like showing Robolactus' backstory on the screen, and Sonic's like, "I've already seen this part," and it's actually the real deal. And that got a
Yeah.
chuckle out of me. But no, they're too cool for space suits. Space suits. They gotta have light suits, so they're just made out of whatever. Is it Antoine who can control light? I can't remember. Whoever can control light, they just make them suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's one way to avoid having to draw anything more complex than the character's normal body with a bubble around their head.
Right. Bunny's helmet also has fucking holes in it.
Yeah, your ears are gonna die.
Oh,
He doesn't have the special electric effect around her ears.
That's true.
So they go out to fight Robolactus, but they suck and easily lose.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
I get Tails activates his like Lucky Charms powers to save Rotor.
For a second, I almost thought that Tails was going to save the day, but I should never have had such a thought.
No, never expect Tails to do anything. That's what I've learned at this point.
No, Silver
Yes.
Snively comes back, and they're like, "Oh gosh, it's gonna get so much worse." But then their solution basically is that he says like, "Oh, just go eat the mutant shark planet instead."
Okay, yeah.
Just do the thing, forehead.
What kind of heroes are these? They're just like, we can't beat the thing, so we'll go doom this other race of. I mean, we just got a bit of backstory where, apparently they were engineered through a scientific mishap to be pure evil, but we haven't actually seen that at all. So it
That's
could just be
true.
propaganda. Like, who knows?
Yeah,
Like,
I have to imagine that they're not an entire race of evil people because I don't think that exists. Like even in the
yeah, I
realm of
also
fiction,
don't.
I kind of
Yeah,
disbelieve it. And frankly, either way, Sonic and friends cheer on a genocide.
yeah, yeah, and they act like it's a victory for them when they didn't. They essentially lost, and the villain just left.
Well, and
Right.
my understanding of Galactus is that he's sort of a cosmic horror where he just kind
Yeah.
of eats planets because that's what he does. He's fucking Unicron.
Right.
And it's like if you do that because you're hungry, well, that just means you're just gonna come back and eat Mobius anyway. Like this is not a
Yeah,
permanent solution at all.
that's true. That's true.
That is a good point.
And I'm sure that Gallagher would have followed up on that plot thread if he just had a chance.
well, that's the end. Sonic shows up to tell us to fuck off. Um,
I accept.
and
I will accept that graciously.
I was really wondering if they were going to have a text box that says, "Write into Sonicgrams you want to see more of the Freedom Fighters of the Galaxy," but they don't.
Interesting. I wonder why.
Everybody knows this was never meant to be consumed outside of the 2 months that it came out.
Right.
Our filler page from Penders this time has a bunch of knockoff Sonics, which is very funny.
One of them actually is Sonic.
Oh yeah, that's even our Sonic, because that's just a different form of him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really. I'm like, wait a minute, somebody screwed up or something. Somebody was looking back on past issues, like, it's a wacky Sonic.
Well,
Oh no, that is Sonic.
we know that. Well, so this version of Sonic, I think they call him Solar Sonic.
Yeah.
That was in a
Right.
Ballers issue, but this is Penders' art, and we know for a fact that Penders doesn't really read other people's contributions, at least not any more than he has to.
Right.
So he might have just been skimming through, so I was like, oh yeah, put that in there.
Mhm.
Or maybe he just didn't care. I certainly don't.
I mean,
Either
that's
works.
possible as
Or
well.
Well, it's
All of
it's
the
time,
above.
It's time for the follow up with Myth Taken Identity Part 2. Gallagher and Monarch.
Heck yeah.
The Down Under Freedom Fighters locate and battle the mythical Bunyip. I really hope that's how it's actually pronounced and I'm not being stupid.
I mean,
But
it
all-
sure looks like that's how it's pronounced.
But all is not well when it proves stronger than expected. And yes, but I don't know, because, like, Aboriginal folklore is completely alien to me.
That's
You know,
true.
I don't know
That's
what the
Look
fair.
it
language is
up.
like.
Look up the pronunciation.
Bunyip.
I'm struggling to remember a single one of the regular fuckers' names, to be honest. I know Barbie, and that's it.
We don't show up very much, to be fair.
No, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Guru Emu, Emo,
Emo.
Bill, Duck Bill Platypus, they call him, and Kangaroo Guy is
Steve.
sure. You know what? Name him after Steve Irwin.
Oh, I wasn't even going for that. That makes sense, though.
No, it's in my notes. His name is Walt Wallaby. Okay.
He's all fucking. Okay.
Oh, you were using your notes. I thought you were just recalling them, and I was like impressed.
Yeah, I thought you were just pulling
I
those
was.
out of the fucking ether.
Oh, okay. So you did get them all except him. Okay, I'll give you a polite single clap for that.
Yes. So, they stop when searching for a while to like have a campfire, I guess, and Guru Emu goes into this like Bunyip themed fugue state.
Yeah, you can like recall information, and throughout the whole fight, he keeps doing that. And surprisingly, that's an important plot point.
Yeah, because the beast itself shows up and attacks. Sorry, I'm yawning because this is boring.
I'm
No,
not
are
surprised.
you kidding me? It's a rad fight.
I mean, I guess I can tell what's going on, which is Not always true for some fights in these books. Bill gets thrown in the water and just disappears for the rest of the story. He's just
They'll
gone.
go down in the water eventually.
Well, but
Eventually.
Walt and Barbie get taken by the monster, but well, it's weird because it grabs Bill, it goes beneath the water, and then it comes back up to get the other two, but he's just gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Where did it put him?
Yeah.
Oh, right, I remember. I don't care.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so basically the thing makes off with Kangaroo Guy and Koala Lady, and Emu finally wakes up from his trance to see it leaving, and then he's the only one left, and that's our cliffhanger.
Oh no, it's up to Emo to do it all on his own.
Oh.
You know, I mean, like, it's just the intro, and I know that later they're gonna do more, but just being like, oh, the bunyip attacks, brah, like, that's kind of, like, I expected something a little bit more. I mean, they try to build up a little bit with, like, the whole legend of the bunyip, and they talk about what everyone talked about them, but
It's just
then
a
it's
big thing, yeah.
yeah, it's just a big thing,
It
exactly.
might as well be a
Right.
bear.
Yeah, honestly.
But I don't know, maybe it'll get really, really interesting in the final
I'm sure
part
it
of this
will.
epic trilogy.
Sure thing.
The final page of this issue is a black and white guide from Pendus to draw your own Sonic recolor.
Oh boy.
You should not say such things to Sonic fans. They will do it.
This is such an ugly drawing. I hate his face. I hate his arms and legs.
It is true.
Yeah.
He
it
drew
is.
the soap shoes okay, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should
Oh,
sue
that's weird.
Sonic Team
Soap
for making
shoes, huh?
forces.
Gosh darn right.
God. Jeez.
Alright, well, good news, guys. Carl is back. So,
Thank goodness.
Thank God. Actual storytelling. I
yeah,
think.
this is Sonic number 105, and he's dead.
Finally, it's all over.
Now, why is he dead?
Because it might draw attention to the fans
Yeah.
who didn't care about the last two issues. I wonder why. Might see this, you'd be like, oh shoot, like things are happening. I better get that. Things are actually going again.
The thing about misleading covers is that I feel like they're at least sometimes a extrapolation from stuff that goes on in the story. Nothing remotely like this image happens in the comic.
Not particularly.
The only thing that is even remotely similar here is that Sonic and Hope are in this comic.
Hope is also sad,
But she's been sad though.
That's true.
but she has reason to be more sad now.
Yeah. This is You Say You Want a Revelation. Ballers and Limb, and I forgot to write a description, but I know what happens in this issue, which is that we rush into Robotropolis while Eggman is finally in the midst of deciding to roboticize everyone.
Yeah, just finally decided,
yes.
like, alright, I better do what I normally do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there anything to say about this first page? Not really. They're packing up Nate's things because I guess they finally learned that he's gone.
Well, except not, because they're like, huh, well, Nate's probably still there, and maybe we could use the sword to bring him back. I think that's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Right.
I don't know why you didn't... The time-space excuse was such a dumb excuse not to do that last time.
Yeah.
No, it was the shield around the city.
I guess, but do we have a way to disable that? Did something
No.
change there?
No, they can't.
Yeah.
The shield is just a plot device. I
Yeah.
haven't mentioned it before, but the shield kind of bugs me a little bit. I really want it to go away, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon.
I doubt it's ever gonna go, or not ever, but like I doubt it's gonna go away. Just
It'll be a little bit. It will eventually not have to deal with it anymore, actually. Before this round of comics is done.
right.
So Hope blabs to her parents about the Robians, and the whole family is now actually aware of the escape. Also, her teeth are miscolored like lipstick in one panel here.
That's what's going on there. Okay, that's why she looks so fucking weird.
And Eggman shows up to basically just confirm it for them.
Well, I don't get why Colin seems to be so dead set on being like, no, I don't want to believe that my brother that I fucking exiled is a bastard.
Colin's been living it up good here. He doesn't want it to slip out of his hands.
I guess so.
Yeah. While it seems it's a little unclear, a lot of the Overlanders have been living in not as great conditions. These three in particular, I think, have been getting special treatment.
Sure.
It seems that way anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we, as we said before, I think Colin respects what Eggman is now. Like before, he was basically a mad scientist. Now he's a mad scientist that controls, a whole city. And so I
Right.
actually think that he thinks that everything that Eggman says is true. He just believes him.
Colin is one of those guys where if a government approves of something, he thinks it's fine. It's only because Eggman broke the rules that he exiled him.
Yeah, and now he makes
I
the
guess
rules.
so, yeah.
Exactly.
But
Anywho,
but Eggman doesn't care, and yeah, so he's just like, oh yeah, it's true, exactly what she says. She figured it out.
Hmm.
You got me.
Yeah,
I've
you're
had enough of this whole
yeah, the kid's
playing
smart.
the nice guy. Time for you all to be robots.
yeah. There's a truly revelatory page here where Max and Alicia are staring at their framed portrait of Elias. Max is like, man, is all this shit with my kids my fault? It's like,
Just for a second, there are always glimpses like this, but
he's
then he snaps back.
self-aware for a moment.
Yeah,
He
I
snaps
more
back to
believe
reality.
that Ballers would have followed through on it than Penders, although I still don't totally believe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely believe that deep down, Max knows that he screwed up. Like, even in his own twisted way. Like, he might think, oh, I've screwed up because my children are terrible, and so I've got to take responsibility because I was in charge for that, you know? And because that's why he acts the way he does.
Yeah.
He just
I
wants to
guess,
fix it all.
yeah.
And that's the thing that I think is what separates Max from Locke is that Locke is always just like, here's the next step, here's the next step in my plan. It'll all be worth it. It'll all be worth it. Max is terrible, but he's also miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yes, Eggman broadcast to the entire city that like, yeah, you guys are gonna die of radiation poisoning, or toxic fumes, whichever it was that they said both.
Uh-huh.
Maybe
Yeah,
there is
it's
both.
toxic waste. It's toxic waste now, so it could literally mean either one.
But not to worry, because the Cybus Corporation has an upgrade that can cure you.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't made a Doctor Who reference on the show in a while.
Well done.
But Colin Sr. is like, what? He gets pissed off by this. Because, he couldn't have really been lying to us this whole time. It's like, yes, I was. And it's like, oh, you bastard. So he takes a swing at Eggman, but as previously established, Eggman roboticizes on touch now.
Yeah, let me just say that, yeah, on top of revealing it, Colin is like, but wait, aren't you, like, alive? Why aren't you poisoned? He's like,
Right.
no, I'm a
Mhm.
robot. And
Guess
then we
what,
get this
fucker?
awesome metal Eggman design.
Metal
Which
Eggman does look really cool.
I so wish they kept this. I roll with this so much more than the whole, oh, pretend that he's just regular Eggman when he's not.
Well,
But yeah, I know that they can't
don't
do it
mind-
because Sega wouldn't allow it.
Well,
But
so
man,
I don't
wish.
mind. I don't mind him continuing to the regular Eggman look, but he really should be more often, occasionally showing us like, oh, by the way, I'm still a robot.
He should take the mask off, basically.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
seen him go full mask off a few times, but I feel like whenever he does that, it should be him. He's not putting as much of his attention into keeping the facade up.
Yeah.
Point is, I do appreciate this moment, and it looks
Sure.
great. And I
Yeah.
do also appreciate this end for Colin because I think it's very fitting
Yeah.
that he finally realizes, oh no, I messed up, and then last a bit of desperation, he's just like, well, I'll just punch him, and then oh whoops, that didn't work. Like, his heart's in the right place, but his head he doesn't really think things through.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So, Sonic and Sally are formulating a plan to use the sword on Nate, like we said, not knowing any of this is happening, by the way.
Right.
Sally mentions that, yes, Dad, this is your fault. If you just listened to me, none of this would be happening. And thankfully, he is lucid enough right now to say, alright, just go, fine. The wrinkle in this is that Sally is still hung up on Mina kissing Sonic from before, which Sonic neither asked for nor knows that Sally saw. But I do love the cap to this, which is Mina jumping on Sally and hugging her and being like, thank you so much for rescuing my mom, and then running away.
Yep.
because all of these characters are completely in the dark with regards to each other's thoughts, which is
Right.
terrible, but it does make that funny.
Very,
It
very soap
does.
opera.
It's annoying how much these characters don't talk about what they're thinking.
Mina should have developed a crush on Sally.
Or, maybe just don't create a character strictly for shipping wars.
Yeah, perhaps.
So Hope is in a fucking horror story right now as she is running away
Yes.
while people are being roboticized. And especially the fact that all of the Eggman monitors are still up, and so Grandma is still on the monitors telling her, run away, don't listen to him. And she sees her get roboticized right in front of her face.
Yeah, this is brutal.
It's very brutal.
Anytime Eggman just lets loose, it's a sight to behold. There's an exchange here that's a little ambiguous into like the order of the lines, because at first Eggman is like, "Oh, surrender yourself, and then I'll spare your grandma." But then Agnes is just like, "Don't listen to him."
Don't listen to him. And Eggman then says, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's like...
And then roboticizes her. So
Yeah.
I think that is the correct order. At least that's the order I prefer. Where he's like, "Yeah, no, you can't actually trust me."
Yeah, it's
because
like, nah.
as I said before, he's totally done doing any level of trickery. He's just like,
no, he's fully masked off now. He's doing this.
I think he only gave the offer just to pull it away and further,
I think he might have given the offer maybe as a hope. Maybe she'll come back so he can roboticize both of them.
Well, so I
I'm
think
sure
that's
that
an
he would
interesting
have.
reading of it.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think the intended order is don't listen to him, and then I'm sorry, Grandma, but I have no choice while you're in danger. And I think he's saying I couldn't have said it better, as in, no, you don't have a choice.
But then why does he roboticize her immediately afterwards?
Same principle, essentially, but yeah. Just terrorize the child, Trauma is fun.
Yeah.
Drama makes for good writing. If there's one thing I learned in my creative writing classes, that you can't be too edgy.
Oh yeah, that's never caused any problems for Sonic.
That's true. Never a single problem.
So Hope is surrounded
Speaking
by shadow bots.
Sonic, yes. I have to give credit because they're just when all hope seems lost. And the SWATbot says, "Prepare to be roboticized." Then Sonic jumps in and says, "Sheesh, that's the lamest suggestion I've heard all day." Which I just, yes, that is such a Sonic line. That feels right out of an adventure game.
That is a very Sonic line.
Yeah, that's an Adventure 2 style writing.
Yeah.
So Sally's here. She takes Hope behind her. She's got the sword.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's using it on the SWAT bots. I don't think so.
No, Sonic took care of all the SWAT bots.
Yeah.
Like with the thing with Kodos, I would not mind just seeing Sally slash shit with a sword.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Show Sally actually using the sword beyond just brain worming.
I do love this next bit though, where they destroy Eggman's monitor, and he's like, "All right, well, fine. I still have my security cameras." And he's looking at them on the screen, and then he's like, "Wait, what happened to Sonic?" And then Sonic runs right behind him, and then runs away again.
That is also, we're finally, these characters, Sonic is actually starting to feel like Sonic again.
It's been a while.
It has. I like it, and I know it's not going to be around for very long.
Here and there. So he cuts a hole in the floor for Eggman to fall through, but then Snively kicks Sonic in there, which is good.
Let me just say this. I cannot stress enough, this is peak Eggman, because right after terrorizing the child, we have a bit of comedy, because he's like, "Ha! You can't touch me just as much as I can't touch you, which makes me invincible." And then he falls to the floor.
Yeah, I don't have to touch you to hurt you.
Yeah, he basically words it as invincible.
Right.
But at the bottom of the hole is a bunch of robo-humans, including Nate.
It's the four we've seen. The four we've seen done so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure where exactly this is, but
storage.
A bunch of other humans are here. I guess this is where they're roboticizing them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I guess so.
But Sally tries to use the sword to restore their free will, but it does not work.
Let me just say, this is a total gut punch. Like, what they built this up, and then oh no, it just doesn't work.
I kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel things, even if they are bad things. true.
Well,
Yeah,
it
but
is an
like
interesting decision to have Nate right there. They showed him again, and then it
right,
just doesn't work.
right.
well, and maybe it does work. Maybe it did
Yeah,
restore their free will, but humans can't move either way.
right. They become statues,
Yes.
so and even a fate worse than death.
Yeah,
Yes.
which I guess it's not really that different whether they're mindless slaves or not, but Instead, we get a little bit of old man Julian manipulating his nephew because he's like, Snively, you've been poisoned just as much as the rest of us. So what are you gonna do? And he's like, what I thought I was gonna be okay. He's like, no, who told you that, bitch?
Right.
Yes.
And we do see the secret here, which I don't dislike, but I don't understand.
I could not have said it better myself.
Which is that if a human consents to roboticization, they can still move.
Which, sure, I guess.
In that Snively gets roboticized, which
right, Snively gets roboticized, and he looks fucking ridiculous.
He looks like a robot pickle.
It works
really does.
for Snively. Even so, yeah. So I don't get. Yeah, this is like the only explanation we ever get. But why would it work differently for Overlanders as opposed to Mobians?
Well, so that on its own is a good question.
Also,
yeah, I don't know because
why does
then the consent aspect,
you get turned into a slave, but if you do, you don't, because Snively still has their free will here, which is interesting.
Well, hold on, is that just for Overlanders or is that just for anyone? Because if that's the case, didn't Jules consent to being roboticized?
Well,
it's just for Overlanders,
okay.
Apparently.
Well, and Jules was not fully conscious, but I think it's probably that Eggman can control whether they have free will or not
right.
himself.
Which that makes more sense. That he can just say like, yeah, this one has is fully self-aware.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And he's just giving
gamble with Snively, but it's at least
yeah.
But it does show the humans that some of them can stay if they consent to it. Because he would probably do that, maybe even to just show off to the crowd that, like, no, you won't be a slave, you'll just be robot.
Right.
But they all seem to leave anyway?
I mean, that's the thing. If our theory's right that it isn't about the consent aspect, it's about Robotnik just controls whether or not they would be...
yeah, but they don't know that.
Exactly. Well, I at this point, I have to assume that they already know that they can't trust Eggman.
Yeah. I suppose maybe it's just that they all independently think I don't want to be a robot.
Right. I mean, would you want to be a robot?
I guess it's too abstract of a question for me to really know.
Keep in mind also that for anyone except his immediate family, I don't think living here has been super great.
No,
yeah,
so already they've been basically under martial law the entire time.
This is what it took to get them to trust furries.
Right. I mean, you know what? Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
My question is less or so because I could see Eggman, as he said, "Oh, I'll let them go. I'll watching them, suffer will be much more entertaining." So I guess I don't care too much about him just letting the freedom fighters and all the Overlanders leave. But what really confuses me is why the freedom fighters leave the 4 roboticized Overlanders there. My boy Nate.
I mean,
take him with you.
They don't really have anything they can do with them.
That never stopped them before. They put the general in prison until they could restore his free will.
I guess just put them in the
attacking people. They wouldn't need to do that for these ones.
That's true. I guess just put them in the same storage room they had the Ring of Acorn in.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they would be very safe there.
Yeah, Sonic could come and steal them at any point he wants, or Amy for that matter,
whenever she wants.
Oh,
why does Hope not want them to take back her? Yeah,
I think Hope has more things to be concerned about right now.
This wouldn't bother me so much, except for something that will come later.
I'll put a pin
in this for now.
All right, I expect it to be brought back up.
Oh, I'll bring it up.
Since Hope's new identity is going to be the girl with the tragic dead family, so.
Yep.
Oh, she's taking Mina's role.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Damn. All right.
All right. Well, let's close off this episode with a final issue of Myth Taken Identity with Gallagher and No Monarch this time, Rabiro instead, which suggests to me that the first two stories of this were already drawn, and that they did this one once they started publishing them.
Probably.
Possibly, yeah.
Guru Emo is left alone without the other Down Under freedom fighters, and the solution to everyone's problems may lie in an old crockpot base at a hydroelectric dam.
That's just a scan of an atlas of Australia on that screen.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page for that.
I mean, there's usually just like basic ass gradients as the backgrounds for most of
Right.
these stories, so it's whatever.
That's true. Fair enough.
So we break into this old dam where there was apparently a crockpot base, and we see that the Bunyip just let them free in this little oxygenated alcove.
Yeah, so the writers are trying to do something with this when I complained, but it's not working so well because, yeah, the Bunyip is just, oh, I can't talk to them, so I guess I'll just attack them. Oh, wait, they can talk?
Yeah,
Fine,
Barbie
then
Koala
I'll
can
talk.
apparently speak their language.
Like, that made all the difference, apparently.
Yeah.
Pretty lame.
He's not evil, he just wants revenge because Crockbot polluted his environment.
Get in fucking line.
True.
Yeah.
Also, revenge against fucking what? Crockbot's, as far as we know, dead.
He is.
Yeah.
But, you know, so basically at that point it's just like, well, we can't really do that, but, you know, it's like, well, okay, can I at least get clean water again?
We'll try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there's no... Well, I guess there's no real conflict here, because...
Not really, it's just the
shows up and they're
solution.
like, yeah, he's not evil, it turns out. And they're like, oh, well, I guess we'll just destroy this dam.
And that fixes everything. Moral of the story, blow up factories and the environment will be healed.
I mean, alright.
I'll have to blow up my own workplace.
Oh my god.
Okay, for legal reasons, this is a joke.
True.
Yeah, so, that's it. Happy ending.
Oh boy, we have time to get ready for the next challenge to face the Down Under Freedom Fighters.
These guys, I do not think appear a single other time until the Flynn era.
Fair enough. I don't really want to see them again.
As I said, they've actually done what, you know, they were supposed to. They resolved the plot line.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
wasn't really
honest.
that interesting,
I
but...
half expected us to never get a part 3.
Oh, yeah. At least this immediate trilogy. Yeah, that's weird.
Right.
Like, was Pender still sick or something? I mean, I'm not really complaining. This is...
No, I'm not
maybe better.
I'm not complaining.
I think they
because,
just-
you know,
I
this
think
isn't
that this
as
always-
incompetent.
Well, this is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I think that this always had 3 stories written, but only 2 were drawn, and so they're just like, well, we might as well at this point.
Sure.
I don't know where Penders is. He'll probably be back next time. But
Probably.
For right now, thank God, we're done. We are done with
Holy crap.
3 of the most difficult issues to review, 2 of which were entirely filler, 1 of which was half filler. Although, let's be honest, 105, the main story, was pretty friggin' good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
honestly.
no, 105.
Yeah,
Yeah,
105, pretty
great.
solid main story.
If it had had a Penders story that pulled its weight, which is pretty rare, I know, it would easily sweep. But
It would be a better milestone issue than the 2 milestone issues.
I'm still ultimately glad that we're following most of these plot lines with Ballers. Specifically, everything surrounding Eggman has been really great recently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100% agree.
And we will have more dastardly schemes to get up to next time, but for right now, that is where we're going to cut it off, I think. So, thank you guys for being here with me, as usual, and thank you to all of our viewers for watching, or listening, I suppose, is probably more common. If you like this video, please feel free to share, comment, and subscribe, and if you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, you can reach any of the links in the link tree in the description. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Hope you all have a great night, and take care.